then just try to end it as soon as possible. And it didn't quite work out for him. And then we have a tie at the top of Group A now. whiterAw at the top, equal with MaDFroG.
Yeah, and I think that is no surprise to a lot of the people here that MaDFroG and whiterAw would be the first early leaders in the group. Elfie definitely needs to get a little bit of a grip on those nerves. Those close positions were so good for him, but just a few key mistakes at the very end there. However, this is really going to be the deciding match for this group because we have seen MaDFroG and whiterAw both come out with 1 win. The first player to get to 2 wins is almost guaranteed to be able to advance to the next round.
So the next game is going to be...
It's going to be whiterAw against MaDFroG.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that is going to be such a cool game.
Now, for any of you who just tuned in, I want to just retell exactly how the maps are chosen. Each player selects 2 maps from the map pool that they don't want in there. So there's only 3 maps remaining from the initial 7. Then each player selects 1 to throw out until you're only left with 1. And like you were saying earlier, I kind of would have assumed that 95% of games would have been Metalopolis. But we saw Xel'Naga Caverns first, and then Lost Temple, and now Shakura's Plateau.
That's actually quite interesting, as is everybody kind of feels that this is a very strong Zerg map, but as you were saying, the style, the 6-gate style, this is actually very popular on this map, and actually takes out a lot of Zergs in many different tournaments, in many different leagues, and this is something that MaDFroG has to keep in consideration of whiterAw, as whiterAw is not going to be a walkover game, and this is going to be extremely interesting to see how this plays out. If he does go for the 6-gate play, because that is actually whiterAw's style in Z versus P now.
Now, the reason that both Apollo and I were very surprised by Shakura's Plateau is how Zerg players really, really love that map. Almost every Zerg I know, that is one of their absolute favorite maps to play on because of the incredibly long distances, because of the fact that you can defend your natural expansion so easily. It's a thin ramp, and it means you have high ground advantage. You can clog a bunch of spine crawlers there. You have a backdoor expansion. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the problem for a Zerg player on this map, being a Zerg player myself, is because a lot of players do expect you to go for this early hatch, players are starting to know this and think, even Terran players on this map are starting to realize, okay, this is kind of a Zerg favorite map. They will go for like a 15 hatch. And they are trying to actually directly counter this by going for some early pylon to block the expo, trying to cannon you in. There's such many different styles. Obviously, for Terran, they're trying to put down an engineering bay as soon as possible. So we are getting all the players in now.
It looks like the only person we need left in the game is, of course, Kaldor, the German streamer for DreamHack. Of course, doing a little bit of casting down from Game Sports in Berlin. So once we get Kaldor in the game, we will start MaDFroG versus whiterAw. That's awesome. And I will say, though, there's this tipping point in the game. If Protoss can't put enough pressure on the Zerg, Zerg starts a really sharp momentum swing up. It is so tough to deal with a Zerg who has 3 bases, because any 3 bases means that Zerg's going to have a very easy 4th base.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And the creep is just enables, well, not enables, but disenables the fact that Protoss can even get into the 3rd. It is extremely hard because they try to get in and you can move units around easy. And as you were saying, especially on this map, as soon as you get your 3rd in a comfortable position, it's quite easy to get a 4th, and then even a 5th, depending on how the positions are. And for Protoss, it's kind of hard because it's a lot more slow and drawn out to get your bases later on.
Now, of course, whiterAw blew everyone's mind against Demaga at BlizzCon when he had amazing Blink Stalker timing to deal with that obnoxious Mass Mutalisk style. Would not be surprised to see MaDFroG do that on this map, but again, we've seen MaDFroG be a little unique, such as in last game when he successfully drone rushed his opponent.
That was such a crazy game. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Mutalisks on this map. They're actually really good on this map because of the areas around the main and the natural. You can fly around, and the styles we've seen in the GSL, we've seen players like Jalizerg really using Mutalisks well, and I think that's something that MaDFroG could put into consideration going into this game. Then again, 6 gateways could actually take that down quite easily, so you got to think about the different angles, how this can play out. And it looks like Calgar is into the game
He successfully joined the game. He's given us the shift carrot because he's just as happy as we are to see MaDFroG against whiterAw. Give a cheer for the Swede MaDFroG.
And give a cheer for the beast from the east, your Ukraine Protoss player, whiterAw.
So it does look like we have White Ra spawning in the top left position as the red Protoss in the bottom right. We have MaDFroG as the blue Zerg. Now, to note on this map, even though there are 4 starting positions, it is impossible to start in vertical positions. In other words, with MaDFroG here, it is impossible for White Ra to spawn here. So no matter what, those distances are going to be very, very significant.
I know. I remember that when this map was first put into the map pool. I actually didn't know that for a long time. I kept playing. I'm like, why does he keep always spawning on the other side of the map? Why is he never next to me? And then after playing a few games, I'm like, oh, actually he only spawns on the other side of the map. So obviously both players do know this. I'm just going to be trying to interested to see which way White Ra will scout. Will he go directly to the right or down to the bottom right-hand side? Because if MaDFroG was in the top right position, you'd obviously see his Overlord coming in, and that would be interesting to see which way he does scout.
So this is about as comfortable a position as MaDFroG can be in on this map. Cross positions, he doesn't have to worry about his backdoor rocks nearly as much. He has the backdoor expansion that is, of course, a large happy face, so that's a good position to spawn in on the map. We do have White Ra throwing down 1 gateway, and I'm actually really surprised. I would even say shocked that he is not building that gateway here for the easy wall off.
Yeah, I was actually just watching MaDFroG. It looked like he was going to take a 15 hatch, but then decided to actually pull the drone and go scout with it. So, I mean, he's got the necessary resources to put a hatch down, but it looks like he will be putting it down. No, he's actually going to go for a second hatchery. Oh my God, what is this? And you were talking about how creative MaDFroG actually is. He has this unique style. This is actually, I've never, out of all the games I've played, out of all the games I've casted, seen this before.
Now this, I think, is a clear all-in strategy from MaDFroG. MaDFroG wants to make it look like he's going for some sort of gas pool strategy, wants to trick White Ra, and honestly, I would fall for this if I were in White Ra's position. You get to your opponent's base and look what you see.
Oh,
he sees the hatchery. Oh, MaDFroG.
And that's not going to be good for MaDFroG at all, and White Ra is going to be in such a comfortable position. Now he knows what's going on, and he is just going to send his probe directly back. Though he is going to know, he actually is going to continue to scout and see exactly what's going on. This is going to be interesting. It looks like MaDFroG is going to go for a lot of speedlings, and it's going to be interesting. I guess just the direct reaction to this for White Ra is just to get a ton of sentries out and just completely block him off from entering the base.
Yeah, now one thing to note, as much as I said that this hinted to an all-in and that would be a very smart all-in play, MaDFroG is by no means screwed because his hatchery has been found. I mean, hatches are good buildings to have. They give you larvae, your queens can make better use of them, they spread creep. So MaDFroG could just as easily take his expansion, now that he has 3 hatches, and do some insane low-tech unit counts. White Ra's not taking his second gas. Looks like he's going for the pretty famous 1-gate core expand or even a 3-gate core expand.
Yeah, and he looks like he is going to wall off on his ramp. But what I'm interested in with MaDFroG is the previous game when he played against Elfie is that he actually pulled drones off gas as soon as he had enough for speed. But he keeps them on, which kind of suggests to me that he might be, well, he does put the hatch down. This is really interesting to understand why he has got drones still mining gas. We're going to have to see how he plays this out. And he is going to go for an Evo chamber.
Ooh, now this is a very interesting play by MaDFroG. It looks like he's going to be going for either a +1 carapace or a +1 attack upgrade for melee, and is going to rely on 3 hatcheries worth of Zerglings. And it looks like White Ra with the very smart Stalker aggression moving in, going to try to pick off an Overlord. MaDFroG really doesn't have that many units out right now, and in particular is not quite done with Zergling speed, and that Overlord is getting close to dying, but no, it ends up escaping for a little while, so looks like he's going to do some zapping before he ends up heading back home.
Yeah, speed is done now, so it's just about to be finished, so he will be able to kill this Stalker, and actually that's kind of huge. Even though that MaDFroG's build didn't really work out, it looks like speed is about to finish now, and he will be able to kill this Stalker unless he pulls units down, and he looks like he is going to get this Stalker, and it is trapped here. So Stalker goes down, which is very huge this early in the game, and +1 melee attack being researched for MaDFroG.
Called it. Looks like MaDFroG is continuing to make a lot of drones, getting this expansion up here, and this is such smart placement. The 3 gateway fast expand with the core is so common, but White Ra doing the very smart building placement in addition, and this is going to make him pretty much foolproof at the early stages. There's the forge going down, no need for cannons, just going to get a very fast +1 upgrade. There's more pylons getting thrown down. Expo coming up for White Ra, and 1 gas at the expansion, but not 2.
I'm actually trying to think what MaDFroG has been thinking throughout this game, and I'm pretty sure his intentions early on was to go for some kind of early cheese build where he could kill White Raw straight away. And then his adaptation is so good. He's actually used the hatchery to increase his economy by pumping out drones, and he is actually not that bad. If we look at the income tab, he's actually in the lead as the probes are only just now been transferred down to here. So he's actually not behind at all by any means, and he has taken the destructible rocks down at the back, and there is no pylon for White Raw to actually spot this. This could be quite huge.
No, that would be terrible way to lose on this map. Very easy to lose this way as Protoss as well. Looks like there's finally the pylon going down from White Raw. Wanted to keep those pulled in a little tighter until he had a little more comfort. Knew his opponent perhaps wasn't going Spire and then opted to throw down the pylon. So we'll be able to check it in time. And in the meantime, MaDFroG is making lots of Zerglings. And a Nidus network is also going down for MaDFroG. Such a smart play, because not only does this give him a potential chance to win, but if it fails, he still has 3 hatches, a lot of drones, and a lot of space to expand.
And we look at the army composition of White Raw. He can't really handle mass lings, and the Overlord is moving into position on the left-hand side of the map up here, and it looks like it will be put here, and White Raw will have no idea. He is so baffled by exactly what MaDFroG is doing. He is not going to expect this at all, and this could technically kill off White Raw, and he is deciding to move out. It looks like he might be moving out, but the army composition of White Raw, as I was saying before, can't really deal with mass lings, especially with +1.
Oh, MaDFroG, as so many Zerglings are even taking a long time to load up into this Nidus network, and it looks like the Nidus Worm is just about to finish, and there it's out, and there's the rally, and White Raw is just going for it. There's the play, there's an extra Nidus Worm going down, and oh no, White Raw pulling back. MaDFroG sprinting in with all these lings.
White Raw is so much trouble right now, especially because he moved out with all his units. They were so far away in the middle of the map. He's having to pull all these units here, and there are so many lings. Oh my god. And the force fields are great, but I don't know if he can hold this. He's losing a lot of damage inside his base. All his production tabs are going down, and White Raw could be losing this game.
But this is a lot of Stalkers and Zealots already. As long as White Raw can keep most of his gateways alive, he should be okay. But we see that about half of them have fallen. There's the third one that's going to fall, and White Raw is slowly cleaning up this mess in his main. And whoopsie daisies, left a lot of Zerglings in the Nidus Worms. They will begin puking them out as quickly as they can. But there are so many Stalkers out right now for White Raw, doing some amazing control, and with that +1 done, look at the amount of use he's getting out of those Stalkers.
And he's actually managing to clear this up somehow. I don't know how he did it, but he is going to clean out this. And if he goes for a counterattack, I'm not sure if he will be able to hold this. He is getting the Hydrogen up, which is the brilliant reaction to get this Hydrogen up. As if he gets it up in time and gets Hydras out, he will be able to clean it up. But he does not have that much gas, because he pulled drones off so he could get a critical amount of lings. And White Raw could be able to pull this back.
Oh, White Raw now moving forward with a very large force in the resource tab. We see that they're about even, but if we go to the unit counting station, we see that MaDFroG has more drones. Neither player actually has many workers at all, and we see nothing but lings being poured out of MaDFrog's base. He has extra queens up as well, 3 queens on 3 hatches, and here comes the big push from White Raw, and those sentries in the back are going to be essential. Oh no, is he going to be able to get the force field off at the ramp? It looks like he is just sacrificing this expansion.
Yeah, I mean, he has so many minerals. He's just slapped down 5 spine crawlers here to help defend against this. He knows that he hurt hurt White Raw so bad, and he's got a Nidus in the back of the base as well. It's going to clean up, and it looks like this push from White Raw needs to win. He's going to take down all these spine crawlers, and White Raw needs to finish it here. What a crazy game.
White Raw's walled in his ramp. He's defended from the Nidus Worm attack, and there's all the 5 spine crawlers getting taken down. There are more Overlords falling. MaDFroG is supply blocked. Target fire on the Hydralisk Den, but it looks like he is trying to go all in, and there's another Nidus Worm going down. It's at about half health, and MaDFroG, oh no, finds a crack in this wall in, and it looks like this Nidus Worm is
going to go down.
Finishes. And there's the drones from MaDFroG. He is losing everything. This Nidus network is full of units, and he is trying everything he can to bust in there, and there's the Queens coming in as well.
And this looks like MaDFroG is going to lose this. Oh my god, White Raw, you are so good. He manages to keep this alive and is just going to move around, find this hatchery up the top. But the thing is, he's losing so many probes now. Oh, what is going on?
And honestly, there are no more probes left for White Raw. MaDFroG looks like he's going to be ending up losing these queens, and it looks like White Raw has just enough to be able to throw down an additional Nexus. But the one issue is that all these Zerglings are just sitting here in the Nidus network, huge amounts of lings and drones, more Zealots getting warped in, MaDFroG trying to find some outlet for these lings.
And it looks like the forces of MaDFroG are going to be cleaned up. He has how many lings now? He has a lot of lings and drones. This is his only force left, really, that he can do anything. There are no cannons left and just a handful of Stalkers, but these sentries have so much energy. They are going to be able to force field these lings, and I'm not sure what's going on. It looks like MaDFroG is just going to move to his hatchery down here. He cleaned out the rocks so he can go and successfully mine once again from this base on the right-hand side.
So MaDFroG now has a base, so that's great. Always good to have a base in SC2. There's one Zealot going to scout up. And he finds it. He has the last remaining expansion of his opponent pinpointed. Links from MaDFroG just going on the counteroffensive. MaDFroG going to try to collect as much money as he can before he re-expands. But it looks like Whiterot needs to clog this hole fast, and he does. Whiterot only has 5 probes remaining. This is the last building, and the good game.
Wow, Whiterot. We are seeing some high-caliber games, and they're not the standard play kind of games. You'd expect at this high level of play that players would be kind of even frightened to do these kind of aggressive plays, just going for the long macro, drawn-out games. But every game we've seen, wow, just crazy, crazy games, and I just couldn't tell.